And we are live, angels. Welcome to Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box. Grab yourself your favorite cup of coffee or tea or whatever it may be, and sit back and relax and enjoy this conversation of the power of prayer in Black history. You may notice the beat of the drums, the music behind this podcast. It is part of this podcast. I am Heather Buzzard on your Tuesday here at Think Outside the Box, where you can choose to think positive thoughts. You can choose a new perspective. You can choose to uplift and inspire and encourage yourself or someone else. Angels, feel free to sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about the power of prayer in Black history. I'm here to uplift, inspire, and encourage you to become more who you truly came here to be. We have sold out of our tickets for International Women's Day Conference, March 1st through the 8th, where we speak about 5 ways to upraise your consciousness, your prosperity consciousness. Yet we will have a segment later on in the coming months about that same talk that we're doing for the International Women's Day Conference. Yet in the meantime, in between time, today we're talking about the power of prayer in Black history. And when I was doing my research for this, it was really interesting to read about the history of this prayer because I came from it being Black History Month, as you can hear the beating of the drums. And I learned that the drums, when they would be playing the drums back in the day, that they would send messages. If you would tune in with the drums, you could hear the messages that the drums were sending. And I know that that's true for a fact because as I tune in with the drums, listening to drums out at the beach or down at the park, I can hear what it is that the drums speak because they do speak to you if you're in tune with who you are. So it was in the era of slavery that people turned to prayer as a source of hope and resilience. And this is the perspective that I'm coming from. And it was, they would pray for freedom, a better life. They would pray for their family, their children. And in their prayers, they would incorporate coded messages within their songs, singing their songs. They would have messages within their songs of freedom. They would pray with others in order to communicate with others so that they could send messages along that prayer line. So it was really interesting when I was reading about this, how this came about. So that's the era that as it began, that as far back that I started to research it. They had secret gatherings. It was due to the the prohibition in Blacks not being able to gather, that they had to meet in secret. And when they would meet in secret, they would usually do that out in forests so that they wouldn't be detected and that the sounds of their worship and their prayers and their drums and whatnot would be muffled by the forest trees and animals. Isn't that interesting, angels? That back in that day and time that people had that desire still to worship and get in tune with God. That is how strong and powerful the energy of spirit is. We can't deny it, no matter who we are, where we are, or what setting we're in. So that's when they would have their secret gatherings. And within these prayers, as we mentioned a few minutes earlier, they would have coded messages and spiritual songs, which were a form of African songs, which contain messages or lyrics talking about their desires for freedom, their information on different escape routes, how family and friends were doing, etc., so on. Isn't that interesting that you can have a song and encode messages into those songs as you would in prayer too, and speak to it isn't only just spirit or energy, yet to speak to people as well. That's the power of prayer, angels. The impact on resistance. Prayer served as a powerful tool of resistance, which provided back then spiritual strength. And if you think about it, angels, even today, prayer provides spiritual strength, no matter what it is that we may have to go through or what it is that we are going through or growing through. I will tell you, when I had that open heart surgery for myself, I used prayer and used my church family and that power of prayer, as well as silent unity and that power of prayer to help heal me, to help guide me through that process, because I had never experienced anything like that before. So it's using that power, that unseen energy, angels, and watching it actually assist and guide you through it, that you can look back and really know to trust it. So it's prayer is a way of strength and a tool of communication, and it's a sense of letting people know that even though prayer served as a powerful tool of resistance, it does provide you with strength. It provides you with hope. It provides you to be able to move forward and to move on with what it is that you're choosing to be, do, or have. Think about that in your life. Where in your life have you chose to pray for something and you were able, because you prayed, you were able to move forward in a better manner and you felt better about who you were as a person? Think about that in your life. As we move forward, during the Civil War period, slaves secretly gathered in cabins 2 to 3 nights a week to hold prayer and experience meetings. And when I read about this, I said, I wonder what experience meetings are. And experience meetings back then is the same way of saying networking that we say today, because experience meetings were where people would gather together and they would shake hands with each other and they would share their experiences and their life with each other. They would network like we do today, business and casually, and et cetera, so on. So that was a form of networking back then, yet they chose to call it what was it? What did I say it was? It was the condition. My apologies, angels. It was the experience of meetings. So knowing that they had experience of meetings, networking is what we call it today. And like we said, they talk about their lives. They would shake hands with each other. They would conversate back and forth, and that would create bonds, which would create communities. So when they would send these prayers and these messages along the way, they would be able to trust and believe in what it was that they were hearing, and they could pass those messages on to others as well. So prayer is a great way to bond with others, to bond with yourself, to bond with your higher self, to bond with that unseen energy. Do you have a prayer life? Do you give any type of concern or consideration to prayer, or do you only pray when something happens in your life that you need to have prayer in your life? If you're going through a health challenge or a death in your family or a loss of a job or relationship or a loss of something or someone, is that when you reach out to prayer, or do you have a strong daily prayer relationship with the unseen energy? I tell you, angels, it's when we're able to be consistent and have a daily relationship with that unseen energy that you will be able to look back and see that that energy is there for you as well. Listen to those drums. See if you're able to tune in to what it is that these drums are saying just for a moment before we move on. To me, it's saying, yes, I am. 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 That's what it's saying to me in my spirit when I tune into that. It is powerful, angels. It's an experience too. Allow yourself to experience that. As we move on, tying in the power of prayer in Black history, since this is Black History Month. During the Civil War period, like we said, slaves gathered in cabins 2 or 3 nights a week, and they held their gatherings and their networking. And that was a great way for them to bond with each other, as we said earlier. And as you bond with others, you're able to trust each other and trust what it is that you're being told. As we move forward, I'm sure everyone's heard of Frederick Douglass, who was an escaped slave, who turned to be an activist, an author, an abolitionist, and a public speaker. And this is back in the 1800s, angels. And he was taken from his family, and he was sent to an unknown plantation, and he didn't have any family there. Yet he taught himself how to read and write. This is the perseverance and the strength of our inner spirit that we have within ourselves. And this is a time without computers and cell phones and connectivity and all that we have today. So think about that, to be able to teach yourself how to read and write back in the 1800s when there was none of what we have here today. And that perseverance and that determination to understand and to be able to communicate with yourself and with the unseen energies. So as he was able to do this with himself, this was back in 1838, is when he fled to New York, and he became a free man after he escaped the plantation back in 1838. He fled to New York and became a free man, and that's when he became an example of the power of prayer, and he became this public speaker, and how by being resilient and staying in tune with who you are and your higher self, you can come out of anything that life may have you in. So just think back in your life where you may have been or may be in a situation where you aren't really sure what to do, what to be, or what to have. Have you asked yourself, or have you turned to prayer? Or have you chosen to think that you can do this all by yourself and that you don't need anybody else's help? It is when we get into that frame mind, angels, when we get into that frame of mind, or that mindset of thinking we can do this on our own, that we really get into more trouble. We were meant here to uplift, encourage, support each other, as well as ourselves. So in knowing that, how well are you able to support, uplift, and encourage yourself and your relationship with the power of prayer? Where in your life can you use prayer more on a daily basis? Whether it be relationships, jobs, within yourself, for you to grow more, for you to release negative habits, whatever it may be. Where can you use prayer more in your life on a daily basis? And angels, you can put your comments down below in the comment section, and we'd love for you to share with us. And also, do you pray daily? And if you do, great. If you don't, that's fine too. If you'd like to share your reasons for that, we comment down below, and we'd love to hear that as well. And then one last thing we'd like to ask you, angels, is do you believe that prayer works in your life? Or do you believe that you have to see it first and then you believe it? Or are you one who is able to believe it and then you know that it will come into manifestation? There is a little twist in there. And it's we asked you, which is it that you believe in? Do you believe that you have to see it first and then you'll believe it? Or do you believe that you can believe it and then you'll see it? If you think you need to see it first, put in a 1. If you think you need to believe it, put in a 2. Comment down below. We'd love to know what you think. So as we close our podcast, angels, we just like to say, just listen to the drums. Listen to that tuning and know that the drums were used back in the day as tools for messages as well, and also for prayer as you tuned in with your soul, and it gave you inspiration and courage. And if you're willing to, you can bring that up on YouTube and listen to it yourself and allow yourself to come in tune with yourself and your spirit on a higher level, in a higher vibration. I know I'm going to share a little personal story. When I was growing up, being adopted and not knowing where I came from or who I was or what the story behind my life was at that time, I had a writing. I would always write every night to spirit. And I'd ask a lot of questions, a lot of how comes and why and what made me be in this place, this position, or how did I get here and all of that. Did I tell you, angels, in all of that, going through all of that, the one thing that I know that prayer and having that relationship throughout my life helped me to know is it helped me move through those situations and experiences on an easier level. Even though sometimes I wasn't conscious of it, it still was. And that's the power of prayer. And when you're willing to have the power of prayer, then you can know and understand, angels, that life is in a grand, great manner. So as you move forward in life, knowing that there's only one power and one presence active in your life and in this world, which is the all-loving goodness of God, ask yourself, how do you choose to use prayer? It is the most powerful energy in this universe. It will bring you anything that you ask for if you choose to believe it. Yet you have to believe in the unseen, and you have to feel it and know that you are worthy and deserving to receive it before it shows up in your experience. So, angels, that is Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box. Little Black History lesson for the month of Black History. The power of prayer. It was really a great, interesting doing this background research for this podcast, angels, because it really enlightened me, and I was really, it just informed me in a much broader manner. Taking a deep breath. Taking another. Taking one more. Thank you, God. Thank you for this day, this space, and this opportunity right here, right now, that we all have to come together to remember who and whose we are in truth, and knowing that there's only one power, one presence active in our life and in this world. That is the all-loving goodness of you. Thank you, Spirit, for the power of prayer. This prayer right here, right now, knowing that whatever it is that anybody is holding in their consciousness, knowing that it has already come into fruition, that the prayer has already been answered, and all they need to do is just believe. So we give thanks that as we believe, we tune into the feeling of that belief and that excitement that anticipation, that joy, that freedom, that knowingness, that childlike laughter, whatever it may be, just awaiting a new gift in the present moment. So we give thanks, God, knowing that the power of prayer always and always works in our life, knowing that as we move through life, all we need to do is turn within, trust, believe, and have faith, and know that all prayer has been answered. We release these words into the universe, knowing all is perfect, whole, and complete. And together, angels, we simply say, and so it is. Amen. The power of prayer in Black history. Angels, next week we're going to be talking about Meditation Tuesday, and it will be a tuning bowl meditation. So get ready for that. We're looking forward to that. A tuning bowl meditation. That's next Tuesday. If you haven't experienced that, come and join us and experience that as well. That's next Tuesday. Angels, in the meantime, you can go to BUZZARDSKORNER.com, BUZZARDSKORNER, Buzzards Corner with the K.com. Sign up for our monthly email. Angels, we have go to our blog post. You can click on our free ticket link and pick up our tickets. We have reached our maximum. Yeah, I think we're able to give away a couple of more. So you can click on that link and put in referred by Heather B on that for the March 1st through the 8th Women International Women's Day Conference Online Summit. We're going to be speaking about 5 ways to increase your prosperity consciousness. We're looking forward to sharing that with everybody. Angels, you can also pick yourself up an empowerment coaching package if you're looking for support as you're moving through on your journey with life. Check out our past podcasts, our blog readings, and all of that and so much more over at BUZZARDSKORNER.com, BUZZARDSKORNER, Buzzards Corner with a K.com. Also, angels, like and subscribe to our channel down below. And we look forward to seeing you right here next Tuesday. Until then, angels, I am Heather Buzzard of Buzzard's Corner of Love. Think outside the box, bringing people back to themselves.